What's up, pizza lovers? Pizza Channel Kevin here. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Philadelphia and Wilmington, Delaware style tomato pie. I grew up in Maryland, but all my family's from Wilmington, so I was exposed to tomato pie at a young age and always loved it. Cold pizza without any mozzarella? Doesn't exactly sound great on paper, but it's actually so delicious. Tomato pie really allows a well-made tomato sauce to shine on top of a well-made focaccia. It's the perfect appetizer to bring to a party or tailgate. It's become a tradition for me to bring it to Thanksgiving and other family get-togethers, and it's always a hit. Every time I make it, someone wants the recipe, so here we go. I've heard you, let's make one. This is my own recipe, using my favorite ingredients and favorite techniques, and not a copycat of some of the well-known tomato pie places. Let's start by making the dough. The dough will need to sit in the fridge for 2 days to get it right where we want it. The dough recipe is 357 grams of water, cool or lukewarm is fine, 6 grams or 2 teaspoons of yeast, 525 grams of bread flour, which is about 3.5 cups, 12 grams or a tablespoon of sugar. If you have it, I recommend 10 grams or a tablespoon of malt powder to get extra browning on the crust, 12 grams or 2 teaspoons of sea salt or kosher salt, and 26 grams or 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. This is a 68% hydration dough. Let's get started. Add your 357 grams of water to a big bowl or pot. Then add in your 6 grams of yeast, then the 12 grams of sugar, then the 26 grams of extra virgin olive oil, then your 525 grams of bread flour, your 10 grams of malt if you have it, and finally the 12 grams of sea salt. If you have a mixer, I put it on speed number 1 using the dough hook. It's going to mix for about 5 minutes. Once it has a nice smooth look to it, pull it out. You don't want to overwork the dough. Pick it up and smooth it out a bit with your hands. And place it in a container at least twice the size with a little olive oil in the bottom. Then put a lid on it or cover it. And if you are using your hands, start mixing it all together with a large spoon until it starts to combine together. After it starts to combine pretty good, you can get in there with your hands or put it on the counter and start pressing it with your fingers, kneading it, massaging it, and balling it until you get a really smooth ball. This process should take about 5 to 10 minutes. You'll get in a nice little workout. Return it to your pot and let it sit out for an hour or 2 until it doubles in size. After that, put it in the fridge for the next 2 days. You can portion the dough into the dough balls after 24 hours or the morning of the day you are making pizzas. You need to give yourself about 6 hours the day you are making tomato pie for the dough to develop the right way. To make dough balls, I like to stretch the dough out like a roll and cut off the portions. This dough recipe makes about 32 ounces. I use 16 ounces for a tomato pie in a 13 by 9 inch pan. If you have a 14 by 10 inch pan, use 19.5 ounces, 26 ounces for a 16 by 12 inch pan, and 44 ounces for a 21 by 15 inch pan. When making the dough balls, ball them up and get a nice smooth surface on top, and you can tuck in the dough on the underside. Put the dough balls in a bowl or Tupperware with a little bit of olive oil and cover it. You can put them in the fridge or let them start to warm up and relax to start the panning process. So the dough balls need to warm up for about 3 hours and then rise for 3 more hours in the pan after that. Take them out of the fridge about 3 hours before starting to stretch them into the pan. You can speed this process up to about an hour if you have a spot in your house that is about 90 to 100 degrees. I'm going to prepare the pan. You don't have to put butter in it, but it's a good security blanket against possible sticking, and it adds some flavor. And then I drizzle in some olive oil. Try to avoid extra virgin if you can, and you can rub that in. You can either stretch the dough out in the pan or on a counter. Let me show you the counter method, which is a bit easier for beginners. Put some olive oil down on your counter or a cutting board. This allows the dough to stick a bit without getting stuck. I'm going to stretch this out with my fingers, kind of gently pushing it out. You can pull on it a bit, but be careful. I'm going to stretch this bigger than my pan because it'll slip and shrink down in the pan. Once you get it bigger than your pan, you can pick it up gently and transfer it to your pan. Go ahead and shape it in there, but it will likely shrink down a bit. Let's cover it and let it rest for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then finish the stretch when the dough is a bit more relaxed. On a tomato pie, you don't have to worry about having perfect corners. That's the hardest part of these square pies. But the dough will grow and expand in the rising process. If you do want perfect corners, you can stretch it again in another 30 minutes. Now we will cover the dough and let it rise 2.5 to 4 more hours. That's how you get that light and airy focaccia that everyone will love. Now let's make my favorite pizza sauce. Start with a 28-ounce can of San Marzano tomatoes. I like these Cento ones, and put them in your blender. Then add in a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of sea salt or kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and cut up 4 cloves of garlic. Pulse this a few times to crush up the tomatoes and garlic and get it smooth. After that's done, put it in a bowl and cut up about 4 large basil leaves and stir them in. You can make this sauce the day you are making pizza, but it's even better if you leave it in the fridge for a day to let everything marinate together. Look how nicely that dough has risen. Par baking the dough first is my favorite way to make a tomato pie or Sicilian pizza to ensure a super light and airy crust that is fully developed. So we are going to par bake this for 11 minutes at 500 degrees. Here's what it looks like after the par bake. Don't worry about a little browning. Let that rest for at least 10 minutes. You could even cover it in plastic wrap and finish it the next day or throw it in a freezer. You can take that crust and make any type of Sicilian pizza at this point. After the downtime to let it cool off a bit, we are going to top this really generously with that pizza sauce. Coat the top of this pie like it's a thick layer of cheese. We don't need any thin spots where the crust is too visible. I also like to add some oregano. I'm going to add some chopped up fresh oregano from the garden. Leave a line on the outside so people can grip it. I like to finish it with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Let's pop this back in for 11 minutes at 500 degrees. So now that sauce has been cooked down perfectly, and the crust has a golden brown color. Okay, we can take this out of the pan. This pizza tastes best at room temperature to really taste that tomato flavor. You can add the Parmesan or Romano or a mix of both at any point, or you can keep it off if you are avoiding dairy. It's delicious either way. The sprinkled cheese is really about preference, just like pasta. But you can see here how much I put on it. Alright, it's cooled off after about a half an hour. and I like to cut it down into 12 slices for sharing. But you can go bigger if you want to eat full slices. Look at that beautiful crumb structure in the bread, that perfect browning. All right, let's try a bite. That tomato flavor is just so delicious. That bread is just so light and airy, has so much flavor. Man, I love tomato pie. I know you're gonna love it too. Definitely make this at home. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and please subscribe to Pizza Channel for all kinds of great videos on making pizza. If you appreciate our content at Pizza Channel, please consider giving us a super thanks donation. It would help us out a lot. Thanks, pizza lovers.